He's a former FBI Joint Task Force member, and he is here with us on the set. Thanks a lot for joining us this morning.
You're welcome.
So this, obviously, this tragedy reveals, among other things, a profound level of distrust between the police here in New York City and the mayor.
And look, the mayor of the city of New York embraced Al Sharpton, and through their rhetoric and through their inflammatory remarks about the NYPD, they now have blood on their hands. Yes, they do, and they can't spin this, they can't pivot it to anything else
and by
but
they,
an epic failure of leadership. The mayor of New York City.
Yes.
Many people are calling for the mayor to resign. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, he should, but he won't. And I think he's going to lose a good police commissioner. I think soon enough, Bill Bratton is going to step down. I think he's going to be fed up to a point that he can no longer control what the mayor is doing.
Let's listen to Mayor de Blasio on Saturday. Take a listen.
I think this attack is going to inflame tension further between police and community.
I think this is a time to think about these families. I don't think it's a time for politics or political analysis. It's a time to think about families that just lost their father, their husband, their son.
The question asked to Mayor de Blasio, do you think that this attack is going to inflate more violence? Do you think that's the case?
Well, you hope not. You have copycats. You have people who want to get their 15 minutes of fame, who want to make a statement. And look, as you can see, you can't get around this. It's an epic failure of leadership. This mayor should have been tough from the beginning with protesters. And look, we've got to understand one thing. This is not indicative of the African-American community. This is not a race issue. It never was. It's good guy versus bad guy. And this mayor embraced bad people, and this is what happens when you try to be politically correct and embrace bad people.
But didn't the mayor himself make this in, and I agree with you completely, but didn't he make this into a racial issue when he called his own police officers racist repeatedly?
Yes, he did, and he used his son as an example of someone who may be afraid of the police. So this is the result, again, of an epic failure in leadership. And what he's got to do immediately, he's got to come out, if he wants to survive, all right, this position of being mayor, is to tell people like Al Sharpton to stay away, to get out of the city. You're only causing more problems in the city. It's a shame because the city of New York Police Department is the best in the country. And as the police commissioner said the other day, we're supposed to be celebrating the birth of Christ, the birth of a Savior. And here this morning we're talking about mourning 2 police officers.
Give us some insight into how the police departments are coming into the city this morning. Lights blaring all over the city. They're out in force this morning. Give us some insight into what's going on in that community this morning.
Well, I could tell you what's probably going through the minds of a lot of police officers is that they are no longer going to be proactive. They're going to be reactive. You know what that means? They're not going to hurry to the scene of crimes anymore. They're not going to put their pensions and their lives on the line because they don't get backing from their government leaders. I hope that's not the case. I hope they do their job. They're professional. But these people are human beings. And to put your life on the line and then to have the mayor of the city of New York say the things he said and do the things he did, it just isn't worth it.
There was 45 minutes before the Baltimore police, they had this piece of paper that was supposed to be sent to Brooklyn or to the NYPD in general about what they knew about this guy. He had obviously left Baltimore earlier, it seemed, in the morning. They tracked his Instagram posts. They knew that he was in Brooklyn. This piece of paper sat on the desks down there and didn't make it to the NYPD. If it had gotten there 45 minutes earlier, who knows?
In this age of Instagram, in this age of electronics, one has to wonder, why was it on the desk? Why wasn't it immediately sent to New York? But, you know, they could spin it any way they want. They could blame NYPD. They could blame gangs, as we talked about earlier. This is the failure of the mayor of the city of New York.
So where do we go from here? How do you remedy this situation? How do we allow the commissioner and the mayor to work well together? What do we do now?
Ainsley, I don't think it's going to happen. I think we're beyond that now. We're talking about death.
Something has to happen. This is going to get out of control. It's going to get worse and worse.
Well, perhaps the governor or someone at a higher level is going to have to step in. And I would certainly not recommend Eric Holder or the President of the United States because they have a bit to blame on this situation, too. But the governor governor's office perhaps should get involved, should bring someone in that can actually control the situation.
Well, you said that you do think de Blasio should step down at the beginning of this
yes,
interview.
he should.
But then you said you think that Bratton would step down too. But how do you think that would affect the police officers?
Oh, it'll be devastating. But Bill Bratton, he's caught between a rock and a hard place. He's a cop's cop. He's a great commissioner. But his boss is the mayor. So how long do you think Bill Bratton's going to put up with this?
That's a great point. When you read the murderer's social media postings from yesterday, the first thing I'm struck by is how he describes his crimes, the ones he's about to commit, as a political act. And that's really the way the mayor has talked about it. I mean, people are responding to their oppression by committing crimes. That's the way he sees it. I mean, don't you worry there's going to be a lot more crime?
Well, exactly. Look, as we said in the beginning, this was a bad guy, good guy issue. It was never a racial issue. The mayor made it into a racial issue. The mayor made it into a political act. The mayor made a mess, and there's 2 police officers dead this morning as a result of an epic failure in leadership in the mayor's office.
We're going to have Rudy Giuliani on, former mayor of New York City, throughout the show this morning to respond to the crisis now in city government over these shootings.
Yeah. Steve, thank you.
You're welcome. We're continuing to follow the